Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, a tragic accident claims the lives of 2 Oxford residents. And the Oxford American Legion Post 108 had a special event honoring Vietnam vets.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A minivan driven by 43-year-old Larry Piragi of Oxford rear-ended a broken-down garbage truck on Ray Road. Piragi was pronounced dead at the scene, and passenger 31-year-old Julie Wild later died as a result of her injuries. 2 other passengers, a woman and a 5-year-old Oxford boy, were later treated and released from the hospital. The driver of the garbage truck was unharmed. The accident continues under investigation.
Well, Addison Township Supervisor Bruce Pearson has been talking about this for a while now. A sledding hill behind the Township Hall has been planned for quite some time, and it looks like it will be done just in time for our upcoming winter snows. Local children and adults will be able to enjoy the new hill, which will be used for sledding, skiing, and overall sliding. And Pearson's favorite part about the completion is that it comes at no cost to residents who will be using it. All labor and materials were donated. More than 200 tons of dirt was donated by TKMS. Resident Mike Fritchie donated his bulldozer, and driver Carl Carson donated his labor. According to Pearson, the spirit of giving is common in Addison Township, which is why it's a great place to live.
More than 50 years after returning from the controversial police action of Vietnam, local veterans were finally given thanks and appreciation denied to them when they returned home. This week, the American Legion Post 108 of Oxford welcomed home over 450 Vietnam area veterans. Veterans and close family members were treated to a warm meal and a jazz concert, and each soldier was given a federally sanctioned lapel pin. Each veteran also received a proclamation from the President acknowledging the sacrifices given by Vietnam vets and their families.
Well, be aware of your belongings when furniture and/or appliances are being delivered to your home. Last week, after a local woman had a new refrigerator delivered to her home, she discovered her purse and credit cards and money were missing. Unfortunately, the delivery men had already left the home, but an investigation is ongoing in hopes of recovering her stolen items.
Well, area hunters can rest a little easier. The man who has been stealing hunting blinds and equipment in both the Oxford and Orion areas has been caught. Hunters have been given out warnings about the thefts for several weeks on social media, and an Oxford hunter finally caught the guy on his trail cam. The surveillance camera showed a man taking the equipment and then riding a bicycle to the Pollyant Trail. The victim in this case then spotted his equipment for sale on the internet. He struck a conversation with the seller and determined the young man matched the video. He then notified police and the man's address with the address and how he found this guy in the first place. Officers arrested the man on a felony warrant and returned all the hunting equipment to the victim. The man awaits final charges while sitting in Oakland County Jail.
That's it for Oxford News This Week. If you want to learn more about these stories and others, stop by your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, contact us right here at Charter Channel 191 or Channel 99 for AT&T.
Coming up next on OCTV, Oxford News with Jamie Hughes, sports news that is, and catch Oxford School News with John Ochins, and don't miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kinney.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
K9 Stray Rescue does just that.
Some heat in there.
Yeah, watch that curveball now. The pitcher's way ahead. And let him
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, new pockmarks on the surface of Mars seem to be linked to the ExoMars Schiaparelli lander, which was launched shortly before it was supposed to touch down on the planet's surface on October 19th. Pictures of the planned landing site taken by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter on October 20th show two marks that weren't visible in May of this year. One mark is bright and is believed to be associated with the lander's parachute. The other is larger, darker patch about a kilometer to the north, probably the impact site of the lander itself. The images suggest that its thrusters switched off prematurely and it dropped from an altitude of between 2 and 4 kilometers at a speed exceeding 300 kilometers an hour. The lander may have exploded on impact since its thrusters' fuel tanks were probably not empty. And over in Iceland, drilling into hot rocks to tap geothermal energy is one thing. Drilling deep enough to tap the energy from magma oozing into volcanoes is quite another, offering a massive increase to the potential to exploit Earth's inner heat. That is the task of a rig now drilling 5 kilometers into the rugged landscape of old lava flows in Reykjanes, I hope I pronounced it, at the southwest corner of Iceland. Drilling began on August 12th. By the end of the year, the Iceland Deep Drilling Project hopes to have created the hottest hole in the world, hitting temperatures anywhere between 400 and 1,000 degrees Celsius. The drilling will penetrate a landward extension of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, a major boundary between Earth's tectonic plates, says Albert Albertson, Assistant Director of HS Orca, an Icelandic geothermal energy company involved in the project. At that depth, magma that flows from below through volcanic activity meets and heats seawater that has penetrated beneath the ocean bed. At that depth, pressures are high too, at more than 200 times atmospheric levels. The consortium of energy companies and researchers behind the project expects the water to be in the form of supercritical steam, which is neither liquid nor gas and holds much more heat energy than either. A well that can successfully tap into such steam could have an energy capacity of 50 megawatts compared to the 5 megawatts of a typical geothermal well, says Albertson. That would mean it could power some 50,000 homes. Wow. And on the West Coast, a massive quake could destroy much of the U.S. West Coast, but how big could it get? In the San Francisco Bay Area, new findings show a direct link between two fault lines that could trigger a magnitude 7.4 quake. It would radiate 5 times as much energy as the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake that killed dozens, injured thousands, and cost billions of dollars in direct damage. The concerning thing with the Hayward and Rogers Creek faults is that they're accumulated enough stress to be released in a major earthquake, says Janet Watt, a geophysicist at the U.S. Geological Survey. They're in a sense primed, she says. These two faults combined cover 190 kilometers and run parallel to their famous neighbor, the San Andreas Fault from Santa Rosa in the north to right under Berkeley Stadium in the south. To map the faults, Watt and her team scanned back and forth across the bay for magnetic anomalies that pop up during fault lines, or near fault lines. They also swept the bay with a high-frequency acoustic instrument called a chirp to image the fault's relationship below the sea floor using radar and sonar. The direct link they found makes it easier for a larger earthquake to rupture both faults. The Hayward and Rogers Creek faults combined could produce an earthquake releasing 5 times as much energy as the Hayward fault alone. The Hayward fault goes an average of 140 years between quakes, and the last one was 148 years ago. Watch out. And in our last story, 2 weeks ago, bots besieged the web. Popular internet sites, including Twitter, PayPal, and Reddit, were knocked offline during a huge attack. The distributed denial of service attack was made by a botnet formed of hundreds of thousands of computers and Internet of Things devices. Hackers used them to launch a barrage of traffic at internet infrastructure company DYN. Devices made by Chinese firm Hangshu Zhongmei Technology were identified as being among those targeted by the hackers, and the company announced on Monday that it would recall some U.S. products. It said one issue was that users hadn't changed their passwords from the factory set defaults, but some researchers say it isn't possible for a user to change all the credentials on some models, so watch out. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back after this.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcat School Update. Before you know it, Election Day will be here. Oxford High School is giving our students some practice in the process. Teacher Lauren Jasinski, along with students Brooke Hebb and John Decker, tell us more.
Me and some of the students have been brainstorming a way to get the Oxford community and our students a little bit more involved in the election process this year. John and Brooke and myself have been putting this into the works to do a mock presidential election for the Oxford students.
Right, so what are they going to do? I mean, is everybody going to vote, or?
John?
Well, yes, we're going to have the entire school vote. We're going to be setting up before school and at lunch, and we're going to have it very similar. We'll have ballots that are similar to what the students will see once they're 18, and they'll be able to come up and just vote for the president. We'll cross their name off and then tally them up at the end of the day.
The kids are putting together ballots similar to those we'll see at the polls. Just a reminder that your vote on our millage renewal is very important to our schools. While we're over at the high school, Principal Todd Dunkley is setting up a new parent group he wants to tell us about. It's called the Parent Liaison Group.
I have a certain way that I like to do parent groups. It's not your traditional type of PTO. One of the things that you find out in today's world that fundraising seems to be what everybody does all the time, and that's not what our cause of bringing people together. So there's no fundraising. This basically brings parents in for a two-way collaborative effort. Information comes in, we would like to see this, or we want to know about this, or we'd like to help with this, so here's what we're thinking. I'm bringing in folks say, what are you hearing, what's working, right here, right now. And what happens with the Parent Liaison Network, and if you go online to find it, it's Oxford Parent Liaison Network. I have a Facebook page. We started that up this year with a group effort to get communication solidified, unified, simplified.
The group is designed to address some specific goals.
They want to know, what are dances? What are these club meetings? What are the club opportunities? What's going on in the actual climate of the school for their kid and ways they can be involved? What are the dances, the concerts? When are the tests coming up? Some of the traditional things they want to know about beyond that is, in the changing world of electronics, the way we apply for college is not the old-fashioned paper pencil, and they feel a little helpless sometimes and need to know about what they can do and how to find it out. So we're flooding that site with information that's pretty much pertinent to what a freshman parent would want to know, a sophomore, a junior, a senior parent.
Todd wants to increase the size of the group in a certain way.
Ben, when it comes to high school parent organizations, we do well with the moms and we struggle to get dads there. So a shout out to dads. If we can get you there, getting there in equal proportion would be wonderful. But if I get a few more dads to have a balance of our different helpful minds and attitudes, more power to you. I've had one dad show up so far, looking for 20.
It was time to party over at the Oxford Virtual Academy the other night, the grand opening of their new edition. We were there with Director Andrew Hulbert, who fills us in.
Well, we wanted to make an environment for kids to learn and really enhance their creativity, and so we're building a building like this where it really enhances the thought process for kids, the problem solving, and really just set up environments for each different type of learner. We designed this lab for the kindergarten through 6th grade, and so the majority of the kids that come in here are either accompanied by their parents or their parents are dropping them off, but they're really working on their hands-on activities when they come in.
The addition is designed to address a specific need.
Yeah, we saw that the kindergarten through 6th grade families, they didn't come in as often as we had hoped. And so we knew if we built something that would really be welcoming for them, we would see an increase in those numbers. And so we've seen enrollment increase, and we've seen the activity of the amount of families and parents that come to the lab. We've already had a number of families dedicate that they're going to, or commit that they're coming either mid-semester or next year, now that they've seen what they can do as far as drop-off and interactive with families and teachers.
On Tuesday evening, October 25th, there was a school board meeting. It was one designed to address specifically some issues inquired about by several people about school finances, programs, and other things that they didn't think were clear enough or being handled properly. Now, after many school man-hours and tens of thousands of dollars in FOIA funds, you can see the results for yourself in this meeting on this station. It's not a short one, over 2 hours long. Probably your only surprise will be that it had to happen at all. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Oxford Orient Fish helps provide emergency aid to the people of Oxford, Lake Orion, Addison, and Oakland Townships. One of the only self-served food banks in the state, Oxford Orient Fish provides once-a-month food supplies based on the size of the family. To donate, volunteer, or to find out more, call Oxford Orient Fish at 248-628-3933 or go to their website, oxfordorientfish.org. Oxford Orient Fish, neighbors helping neighbors.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Buick cracked into Consumer Reports' ranking of the top 3 most reliable brands, a feat no American brand has accomplished since the organization began tracking brand performance in the early 1980s. Buick's number 3 ranking in Consumer Reports' 2016 Annual Auto Reliability Survey is commendable and sure to be a wake-up call to other manufacturers, Jake Fisher, Consumer Reports Director of Automotive Testing, said in a statement on October 24th. One reason why the brand has been able to leapfrog others in the General Motors stable has been its limited vehicle lineup, with none of the pickups and truck-based SUVs that have negatively impacted Cadillac and Chevrolet. In our next story, baby boomers in the U.S. are starting to outgrow their midlife crisis years, and that's bad news for automakers who want to sell sports cars. It was a sign of things to come in October when Ford Motor Company idled its Mustang plant for a week as sales for the year fell 9%. Other sports cars have faded at a similar rate, and even stalwarts like the Chevrolet Corvette and most Porsche models are slumping. While there are still plenty of buyers who love the passing lane, automakers face a pesky reality. Men born between 1946 and 1964 who buy most sports cars are cruising past their peak spending years. And as age 70 beckons, folding up like an accordion to get into the front seat of a speedy roadster is hardly the prescription for an aching back. Some are even turning to high-powered versions of luxury SUVs. Boomers are starting to age out of sports cars, says Eric Noble, president of the Car Lab, a consulting firm in Orange, California. When you get into your 60s, comfort becomes more important. Sports cars are not going away, but the market will get smaller. The generational handoff won't help sports cars much either, Noble said, because there are fewer Generation Xers and those about 35 to 50 years old. And the boomer children, the millennial generation, aren't yet earning enough money to buy Mustangs, which start at $24,900, let alone a Corvette Z06, which can sell for more than $100,000, Noble said. Wow. And at Mercedes, Mercedes-Benz latest E-Class sedans went on sale in June, and now the automaker has shed light on the high-performance variants. The high-end E63S is powered by a 4-liter V8 biturbo engine that produces 603 horsepower and 620 pound-feet of torque. It can hit 60 miles an hour in 3.3 seconds and tops out at 186 miles an hour. The base E63, meanwhile, is rated at 563 horsepower and has 553 pounds-feet of torque. It can reach 60 miles an hour in 3.4 seconds and has a governed speed of 155 miles an hour if you want to go that slow. Both models, Mercedes said, are the most powerful E-Class variants of all time. While the performance of the 2018 Mercedes-AMG E63 and E63S vary, the two do share some similarities. The engines have been equipped with the AMG Cylinder Management Cylinder Deactivation System, which debuted on the SLK 55 and allows for lower fuel consumption. A re-engineered AMG Sport suspension is also found in the sedans. Both models also feature the new AMG Performance 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system, which allows for torque distribution on the front and rear axles to be fully variable for the first time, Mercedes said. Two twin-scroll turbochargers boost performance and improve responsiveness. The sedans also feature an AMG Speed Shift multi-clutch technology, 9-speed sport transmission, which is combined with a wet start-off clutch for the first time. Drift mode is standard on the E63S. When activated, the sedan becomes purely rear-wheel drive, Mercedes said. The E63 sedan will make its world debut at the Los Angeles Auto Show in November. The sedans are set to launch at U.S. dealerships during the summer of 2017. And on the recall front, Volkswagen's premium division Audi plans to buy back 25,000 Q7 diesel SUVs in the U.S. to compensate owners whose cars do not meet exhaust emission standards, German weekly Der Spiegel said on October 21st. Audi representatives are in talk with U.S. auto authorities about fixing 85,000 cars that failed exhaust tests, and litigation has been ongoing in the U.S. District Court in San Francisco before Judge Charles Breyer. Preliminary discussions have revealed that around 25,000 older generation cars cannot be fixed and need to be brought back by the German car maker Der Spiegel says. Wow. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highway. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is W. Ripto. I'm a member of the Addison Township Fire Department. I'm a lieutenant here. I've been here for 13 years. Today, we're going to talk about address signs and having your driveway properly marked and making sure that when there's an emergency, we're going to get there quickly and safely to help you with your emergency. Here are some things that we need to keep in mind when you mark your driveway and/or your mailbox. In some situations, you may have to mark both your mailbox and your driveway. In situations where your driveway is across the street from your mailbox, or if you have a shared driveway where multiple houses are on your driveway, or if your driveway splits off into 2 or 3 areas. Wherever it splits, you might want to have an address sign marking what side to go on, whether it's left or right or straight or however you need to do it. It's going to make our job a lot easier to get to you in that state of emergency. A few other things to keep in mind is you can have your address sign vertically or you can have it displayed horizontally. We highly suggest that you mark both sides of your address so that whenever we're coming from the north or the south or the east or the west, we can see that driveway on both sides. In our engines, in our ambulances, we have our map books. And in our map books, we have very detailed oriented pictures showing exactly where the addresses are. But having that marked, your address sign marked or your driveway marked will definitely ease us in finding your address in that state of emergency. Okay. In the map book, we have all of our hydrants marked, we have all of our streets marked, and it makes it a lot easier for us to find. So that's typically the officer's job, sitting in the officer seat. He grabs the map book and verifies with the driver exactly where we're going. And we have also a blown up section showing real quick and easy how to find your address on one sheet of paper. Instead of flipping through the book, we can go through your section and find exactly where we need to go. Okay, the address signs are $15 a piece. You can call the station at 248-628-5600 and request to have one filled out, or you can come to the station and have one filled out yourself. They're $15 a piece again, and it's definitely a good thing to have for your driveway and for us if we ever need to get there. Thank you very much for your time today. Again, my name is W. Ripto with the Addison Township Fire Department. Thank you and have a good day.
Welcome to your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity special fundraisers and general community information. Now, if you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658 or go to our website, occtv.org. At the November 8th general election, Oxford Voter Precinct residents number 1 must remember to vote at the Oxford United Methodist Church building, 21 East Burdick Street, and not at the 22 Burdick Street Village Government building where the August primary was held. The Oxford Fire Chief Pete Schultz would like you to check your house number to make sure it is properly displayed and visible from the street. In case of emergency, responders need to find you quickly. The number should be no less than 3 inches high and located at the front door or over your garage door. Let's help our emergency team keep everyone safe. For more information, call 248-969-9483. Saturday, November 5th, 3 p.m., the Oxford Free Methodist Church, 790 South Lapeer Road, would like to honor all veterans and their families with a complimentary dinner at the church. A reservation is required, and you can make your reservation by going online and entering oxfordfmc.org. Monday, November 7th, 7 p.m., join in honoring the services and sacrifices of the American Armed Forces by attending the American Concert presented by our very own Oxford Middle School's orchestras. You will truly find the music is enriching and exciting. If you would like to know the true feeling and pride as an American, you won't want to miss this great experience. And get this, the concert is free. Don't miss it. Monday, November 7th, 7 p.m. Saturday, November 19th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday, November 20th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. St. Joseph's School is having its annual 24th annual Holiday Happenings Craft Show. This is really big craft event of the year. Start your holiday season right and with over 100 crafters, baked goods, door prizes, lunch, raffles, and professional digital portraits with Santa on Sunday. There is a $2 admission fee and $15 charge for a picture with Santa. Remember, Saturday, November 19th and Sunday, November 20th. Oakland Family Services is a nonprofit human services agency which provides foster care and adoption services to children 5 to 18 years of age. There is an urgent need for more individuals who are willing to open their homes for these children. Intensive training and ongoing support are provided. Just call 248-858-7766 extension 236 for more information. You won't be sorry you did. Are you the owner of a local Oxford business and would like to expand your presence in the community? If the answer is yes, then the Oxford Chamber of Commerce would like you to join their organization. Make new connections and learn things that may help you run your business a little more efficiently through networking, vendor shows, advertising, seminars, and much, much more. For more information, contact Nicole Sturrett, Chamber Director at 248-628-0410 or go to their website info@oxfordchamber.net. If you own a business, belong to an organization, or you are a local resident wishing to show your support for our school programs, music concerts, or any of the many programs broadcast by OCTV, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter for the station. A promotional spot would be created just for you and continual recognition given to you by our broadcast announcers. It's easy and it's really quite inexpensive. For more information, contact our TV station manager, William Service, at 248-628-9658, or you can send a message of interest to his email address, manager@occtv.org. Now, we at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming events, so if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our show, call us at 248-628-9658 or go to our website, occtv.org. One final reminder, you can locate our OCTV program schedule by going to our website, occtv.org, and clicking on Schedule. There, you will find a list of OCTV programs, dates, and times. One program I highly recommend is Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. Just check it out. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your local host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again next time for your weekly calendar of events.